Hey, it's me, Bobbert, and welcome to my 100 subscriber special. When I began making videos back on Bobbert TV, I focused mainly on games that are unknown or underappreciated. I definitely went in the opposite direction compared to what I upload now. That's why, in this video, I'm making a top 5 underappreciated games I want to see for the Nintendo Switch. Now, in order for the game to qualify, it would either have to have low sales, low ratings, or just a game franchise that not many people talk about or even want sequels of, or at least by a majority of people. Now, the game doesn't have to meet all this criteria, but it does have to have at least one of those requirements. With that being said, let's begin the list. I could easily put a lot of Sega games on this list, heck maybe even enough for a top 10 by itself, but I want to keep this list diverse, and I was also tempted to put Soccer Wars on here, and for those who are familiar with my channel, I love some Soccer Wars, but I think this game deserves to have a re-release first. Skies of Arcadia is a turn-based RPG that debuted on the Dreamcast and later ported on the GameCube, both on consoles that underperform in sales compared to its competitors. I think it will perform well on the Nintendo Switch due to its handheld feature. Portable RPG games, especially in Japan, sell usually pretty well, and with future RPG games coming out for the Nintendo Switch like Xenoblade 2, Fire Emblem, and even a core Pokemon game, there's definitely a potential audience to capitalize on there, so I hope Sega will either port either the Dreamcast version or the GameCube version, and I'm sure people would, jump on that right away. I admit, I know the odds of this happening is highly unlikely, but I'm a big fan of Konoha, and I think it's time for a Konoha 3. For those who are not familiar with the series, Konoha is a 2D platformer with some 3D elements, usually by grabbing enemies and drawing them in the foreground and backgrounds. It's a simple game, but a very fun experience and some great storytelling. Since Nintendo and Bandai Namco seems to be buddies for right now, maybe Nintendo can make a deal to make the sequel happen, or at least port the first two Konoha games. I know they remake it for the Wii, and there was plan to remake the second one also for the Wii, but due to the low sales of the Wii version, unfortunately that was cancelled. Again, I know it's a long shot, and there's probably better franchises that Nintendo could pick from Bandai Namco's library, but I feel Konoha has some big potential, and if it's just advertised just a little bit, like maybe feature it in a couple of Nintendo Directs, I think it can really capture an audience.
Is where it all began so long ago. Before time. Before you.
People are still wanting a sequel to Eternal Darkness, but not enough for them to make a successful Kickstarter. Twice. Eternal Darkness is a horror game that was made by Nintendo, and for those who are familiar with Nintendo's library of games, emulator games at least made by Nintendo themselves or supported even, are a rarity. Now there's Killer Instincts. I'm not sure if they published that one, but they did, own 49% of Rareware during that time, so I guess technically that counts. Of course, there's Eternal Darkness, which they published. They kind of supported Conker's Bad Fur Day, though they didn't publish a game or even feature it on Nintendo Power when they were doing the reviews. And of course, the most recent, they supported Bayonetta 2, they brought that back from the dead, and even featured her on Smash Brothers. Now, although a port of Eternal Darkness would be very nice, I think upgrading the graphics and using the Joy-Con's gyro controls would add to the experience. It could also use the HD rumble a bit. Now, if you think this choice is impossible, wait till you see the next one. I know it's a long shot, heck maybe even it's completely impossible, but Since Nintendo managed to get the Donkey Kong Country series, Donkey Kong 64, Minecraft, which is owned by Microsoft Studios, and even supports some cross-platforming online with Xbox console, it's not impossible for Nintendo to get another Rare game. And I was considering to put Star Fox Adventure on here, mainly because that is actually a possibility for Nintendo to get, but I have another game in mind. Even though this game was never on a Nintendo console except a beta version on the GameCube, Cameo was made to be on a Nintendo system. They don't need to fix much about the game, maybe except changing your character. It can use the same idea as Hyrule Warriors, where you can point to the screen to change your character, or if you're playing handheld mode, you can just touch it. But again, that's a very minor nitpick. Now, Cameo did decent in sales and even in ratings, but compared to the other series that Rare made, Cameo is usually the most forgotten, and it's a shame because I think there's a lot of potential in the series, and being it on an Xbox console, I think it kind of, hindered its potential popularity. Now, I'm not saying the game was perfect, but it was a pretty good game, and I think having it on a Nintendo console would give it some new life, and maybe it would encourage Microsoft to make that Cameo 2 that they canceled. But again, wishful thinking on my part and pretty much completely impossible, but I feel like I had to add it on here anyways. Resident Evil 2 was a great game, and it's probably the most forgettable great game on the Nintendo Wii. I really love how to use the motion controls to swing the sword, and I thought it'd be impossible to get another installment of the series, mainly because of video game companies moving away from motion control in general. But with the Nintendo Switch announced, I think it's time for a third installment of the game. Well, sort of. I think Ubisoft should use the same game engine and create a new IP with it. I feel that the Red Steel name is pretty much dead, and creating a spiritual successor would benefit them more in the long run. Maybe Ubisoft can team with Nintendo again to make a first-person Zelda game. Then again, Skyrim is kind of doing that already. Maybe they can have Fire Emblem. But either way, I think Ubisoft should definitely bring this idea back and show off what the Joy-Cons can do. Maybe they can add a double sword ability, mainly because both Joy-Cons can now perform the same, while in Resident Evil 2, the Wii Motion Plus was only available on the remote itself, but not the nunchuck. Again, it's just spitballing ideas here, but I really think bringing back the series is a perfect time for Ubisoft. Well, that's a list of games I want to see on the Nintendo Switch. I know I'm leaving a lot out, so feel free to list the games that you want to see in the comments below. Heck, it doesn't even have to be for Nintendo Switch. Before I go, I'd like to thank you all for watching my videos. I know 100 subscribers is not a huge milestone, but I'm just glad I was able to pass that point. Thank you for watching my video, and please stay tuned for more content. If you like what you see here, feel free to subscribe. I have another top 5 in mind. Not sure when that's going to come out. Of course, I'm working on the Conquest Bad Fur retrospective series, and of course there's more video games reviews, especially with all the good video games coming out like Sonic Mania, Super Mario Odyssey, and all that other stuff. So stay tuned for that. This is me, Bobbert, and thank you for watching my video, and I hope you continue to support my content.